everybody, Tanea here with 10 Tips for Practical Christianity. If you are just jumping on, we are on day 7 of this small series where we are just giving out tips and testimonies each day about how to follow God, pursue Him, go deeper with Him amidst a busy life. So today is day 7 and we're talking about how to encourage ourselves throughout our day. And that is something that I think when we walk with God, it is so easy to get discouraged. It's so easy to just really get caught up in the things that we feel like we should be doing, and then also have to be spending time and energy on doing just our everyday life and being with our families and doing all of that. And it can start to feel like we don't have the time to really just like sit in His presence and spend time with Him, which is so transformational. It's probably the most transformational thing is just to spend time with Jesus and just let Him love on us. And it can be hard to get started in that because we don't feel like we have the time for it. And so, yet we really need it. And being able to spend that kind of time with God where maybe you're sitting and you're worshiping or you're listening to, some instrumental music or whatever that is. Maybe you're like just focusing and chewing over and meditating on a certain verse in the Bible or something, and that time's really valuable. And I believe that totally transforms our relationship with God and our lives in really powerful ways. But we don't always have that kind of time, and so yet we need that stuff because it helps us to grow and to reform our character and to become more like Jesus. And so some things that I have done in seasons in life when I don't feel like I really have the time to just like sit and spend a lot of time on a regular basis in Jesus's presence, which is really important, and I think we should do that. But I've tried to find ways to incorporate that throughout my day as well. And so something that I have done is I have taken and just made like little notes that I put throughout my house, or I put them at work, or in my car, or just different things like that where I know I'm going to see those notes. And so I just put them on construction paper, and they can be certain quotes that are really resonating with me in that time, or certain like points from teachings that I know that I need to just see again and again because that's the battle I'm going through. And I just post those up on like my bathroom mirror, and I put them by my stove in my kitchen and on my fridge, and put some in my car or in my wallet so that I see it every time I pull out my debit card. I post them at work, and I put those around to remind me when I see that. I might not sit there and read whatever's on that note card, and maybe it's a verse, maybe it's an inspiring quote, or maybe it's like I said, like a teaching point or a revelation that I got or something to just spark in me what I need to be hearing from God in that moment. And I'll give you some examples. But I don't always just sit there and like have to like reread the whole thing. But because I wrote it down, because I made that card or that little note or whatever it is, I know what it says. And so when I see it, even if I'm just seeing, like I'm looking at one right now and I have just this pink piece of construction paper up. And when I see that, I'm not necessarily reading what I wrote on that piece of paper, but I know that it says something about being chosen, about encouraging me that I'm in the family of God, that I'm not forgotten, and just reminding me of these things that when I made that, I really needed to be dwelling on. And the more I dwelled on those truths, even though I didn't feel them in my heart, the more they became truth in my heart because I was focusing on them again and again. And so I have like that one is just like in my office, and I just see that one that says you're chosen and you're not going to miss it and you're in the family of God. And I see that every time that I do anything with my office stuff. I have other ones in my house that are about really practical things like your body hears everything your mind says. That one I post up at my bathroom mirror just to remind me, like, hey, if you're dissing your physical body, like your body hears that. Like, if you feel like you don't look great today and you're thinking that, like, your body is going to feel that, and you're probably not going to feel great today either. And so, again, I just post those things up to remind myself of truths and to saturate myself in the truth of God throughout my day, even if I don't have the time to just sit and be in His presence, which I think is really valuable, and we should try and make time for that if we can, but we can't always do that. And so I have done things like that just remind me throughout my day. And so I have done that with verses as well. Romans, I think, is a great chapter to pull some verses out of, to remind us of just who we are in Christ and how we are accepted, and he loves us, and all things work together for the good of him, and nothing can separate us from God. And so Romans is a great chapter to dive in. And so I have some of those things posted up where it just reminds me, like, hey, God works all things together for good for those who love him. And maybe it just says, you know, Romans, or maybe it says he works all things together or something. And it reminds me, like, oh, right, that's the truth of who I am in Christ. That's the truth of what I can walk out. And instead of focusing on whatever I could be focusing on in that moment, and maybe I'm getting a glass of water or putting in my earrings or doing something that is super simple, super practical, getting ready for the day, driving in my car, maybe, whatever it is, instead of fighting that battle of like, ooh, I don't know if I really feel accepted in this moment, I'm looking at something that's reminding me, like, hey, God told you that you're accepted. He told you that you're in the family of Christ. And those are truths that are for all of us. So those are good places to start, to post up things like that says, you know, you're chosen, you're wanted, you're loved, you're accepted. And instead of thinking about like, ooh, I don't really feel that right now, when we see that, whether it's on our mirror or maybe it's by our stove or on our fridge or in our car or at our desk at work, whatever it is, wherever we're seeing that note, we're being encouraged, and we're strengthening ourselves in God by posting those things up. And so that is just a quick tip of that. Takes some prep on the front end, but it's super easy to do, and it's really, really personal to each of us. And so I just encourage you to find your verses, to find your little phrases that are things that you're going through right now that you need to be reminded, and things that you know that God has said to you specifically is even better. If you don't have any of those things, then just start with writing down, maybe do like 4 note cards and do you're loved, you're accepted, you're wanted, and you're secure. And just post those around. And just remember, like, that's true about you, and read those until you feel that it's true about you. So that's day 7 tip. I hope it helps. If you have any questions, let me know. We'll be back again for day 8 tomorrow. See you guys.